So people asked me on to make a video about pollen collection, and I want to do that now. So this is particularly a video where I show how I collect pollen. And yeah, this is just like an example. The pollen that I use, this plant's already pollinated, so I will not use the pollen in pollinations. But I just wanna show how I do it. So let me just put the camera a little bit closer to the flowers, and then I show you what I do. So this is a brush, a makeup brush, and this is a paper bag. You can get paper bags, pergamene bags. Pergamene is like butter bread paper. You use that for food and for stamps. Stamp collectors use this stuff. So I go with my makeup brush into the flower and just collect all the pollen that I see, like not only on the ground but also everywhere inside the flower. Pollen sticks everywhere, not only on the most important parts, but like you can sometimes find pollen way down in the throat, and that pollen is even better because it hasn't been exposed to the elements. So yeah, sometimes with plants that do not produce a lot of pollen, for example Lubivia or small Echinopsis, you can remove everything here, these parts, and put them in a paper bag to dry. This isn't a technique that produces results that can be like kept for years. When you do it like I do it now, you can keep the pollen for years. You can freeze it, you can put it in a freezer and keep it for later use, a year later, 2 years later. And yeah, when you have too many parts of the flower in this bag, it definitely reduces the viability of the pollen. Moisture is pretty much #1 killer of viability of pollen. So when you put pollen into a plastic bag and it's still wet, that pollen will probably not be viable for much longer than a few days. But if you do it like I do it now, I don't know if you can see it in the video, but there's fine pollen dust at the bottom of this bag. And if you do it like this, the pollen can be frozen and kept for years. It's pretty much the same principle that is used by seed banks. You know, they freeze rare seeds like in a bunker, and the same can be done with pollen. Every time I go into the flower with my brush, there's some fine dust on this makeup brush. I always get some brushes that are black, or that at least allow me to see if there's any pollen on the brush. If you use like, I don't know, pink, it can be that you don't see the pollen. So you never know if the flower where you try to collect pollen has even pollen left. Sometimes when you wait too long, the pollen is gone. Pollen is designed to fall out, like to dust out of the flower, and it attaches to bees, and every insect that visits the flowers will take some pollen with it. Well, let me turn the camera a little bit, then I'll show you how I do it on the other flower. Again, I will not use this pollen because it's already pollinated. I just want to make a video. See? There's some yellow dust on this brush. What you can use to improve like the viability of the pollen, like long term, is you can use silica gel, like, and put it into the bag where you have your pollen. The stuff is used to keep things dry, and the longer your pollen is dry, the more, the better are the chances that it's still viable. Some flowers do not produce any pollen. For example, I have very much problems with super apricot because it always, like, it very rarely produces sufficient pollen. But yeah, I think it's a sign of genetic health. So yeah, some plants have produced more pollen than others. All right, I think this is sufficient. I mean, you get the idea. Don't get any paint brushes, like, because they have these like very rough hair at the top. Like, I don't know where these hair come from, but they aren't made to pick up like dust. Makeup brushes are, and these you need to get. I usually buy like one pack every year. Like, they are cheap. I just bought some that cost like $10 for 36 brushes. Not all of them can be used. There are some that are too big. But you know, when you spend $10 for like 20 brushes, then you're in good shape. Alright, after the pollination or the pollen collection, you put this thing in something that disinfects. I use like 70% alcohol, and within 30 seconds or a minute it should kill the pollen that's on there. So then you take it out of the disinfectant and clean it up with water, because you don't want to have like all the remnants of the disinfectant on your brush when you pollinate. Like, normally the alcohol should evaporate, but it's better not to risk it. So clean it up and then let it dry. It should be viable. It should be ready to use within like an hour. These brushes dry very fast. Alright guys, I hope this video helped you a little bit to collect some pollen. If you have any questions or ideas, write it in the comments. Alright, and if you want to support me, you can do it at patreon.com/cactusjerk. Bye.